And here's a small portrait, about 4 or 5 inches, of Ida McKinley. When I was doing research for the exhibition, I spent some time at the National First Ladies Library, which is a wonderful and super interesting place. They were very helpful, and I learned so much about Ida McKinley since they occupy, in part, the Saxton House, the McKinley house that belonged to her family. And one of the things that really stands out about this portrait is, Ida McKinley had this very difficult life. It was not very easy for her when after marrying William McKinley. The couple had 2 daughters, who then died in pretty quick succession at about ages 2 and 4, and were buried. This stereoscopic picture of their graves was published as a series of stereographs of these kind of three-dimensional images. You look through a viewer, and the two images combine together to create a three-dimensional effect. This series was published when her husband William McKinley was assassinated, and this was, as though things couldn't have gotten any worse for Ida McKinley, having lost her daughters very young, then losing her husband. And during the McKinley presidency, she was very kind of infirm and ill. She had migraines, she had seizures. She would sit next to him at dinners, and which was unusual. Usually you would have the president at one end of the table and the first lady at the other end, but they would sit next to each other so that if she had a seizure, he would put his napkin or a handkerchief over her face to preserve her dignity. But in this portrait, in this little miniature watercolor on ivory, she has herself shown from the side in profile, which emphasizes her haircut, right? It's short, it's very short. And at the end of the 19th century, doctors believed that cutting your hair as a woman would alleviate the symptoms of migraines. And so she's really showing her medical condition by allowing us to see that her hair is closely cropped.